You guys want to go around the table, starting from Ashish, Ganjan, Anand, Shubham, or whichever order you guys want to do. Like, let's start.
So I think I will go first. And today I asked Lee for an issue that on which I can work on. So he gave me the issue that install automatically connect to Kubernetes. Okay, share the link. So I did, and I was not completely understood the problem and what I need to do in that. So it will be helpful if you can just briefly summarize it.
Alright, I'm going to try to open it in a new tab. Okay, so automatically connect to Kubernetes. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, this is the issue. So you should be able to invoke an ad hoc connectivity test with Kubernetes. Should use Kubernetes client. Okay, awesome. Okay, and future should be able to invoke a connectivity test with each connector Kubernetes cluster. All right. So for this story or for this issue, now Ashish, tell me this. Like, how comfortable are you with writing Go code?
Actually, I'm Anand and I'm working. I think you were asking me.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but so now and tell me one thing. Just a second. Oh, Anand, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Anand. I actually thought it was Ashish who was first talking to me. I'm sorry about that. So Anand, I'm sorry. I was just looking at your issue. So what you need to do, Anand, is that right now, when Meshery is loading up the Kubernetes config, we are not doing a connectivity test. So essentially what this story is what this issue is describing is that we should be able to do that. So anytime a user loads a kube config file and then hit submit, we should be able to make a call to the Kubernetes using some dummy endpoint. It could be get nodes, it could be get version, or some any of those endpoints. Kubernetes has those. I think you know that, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry about that. So you do know Kubernetes has all those the get nodes and get version endpoints. So all you have to do is you have to make calls to one of those endpoints and kind of return that data to the UI so that the UI will be able to present it to the user, and that will prove that connectivity to Kubernetes is working. Now, for working with Kubernetes, we already are using a library. Let me share my screen. Just give me a second. So this is Meet. Where is it? I have too many windows open. Sorry about that. Okay, so I hope you guys can see my screen. Let me know when you guys can see my screen.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is the issue you're working on, right? So there is a library called Client Go for Kubernetes. So let me paste this in the chat and let's go from there so that you guys will have a reference. So this is the library you will be using to make the call. Actually, in Meshery, we already are using this library, but at the moment, what I'm doing is I'm just using it to make a, kind of validate the kube config file, right? Let me see if I can find you some examples. Okay, so here's an example. create update deployment. Now none of these examples are going to help us, but let me point you to a location in Meshery. So it's going to be github.com/layer5io/Meshery, and here, so you guys know, if you go inside the handlers, and then if you see this K8s config handler, so that's Kubernetes config handler. Now in the Kubernetes config handler, we are checking if it is a post, and then here, so under the let me see, yeah, under the add K8s config, so this line number here, so you can see here I'm actually loading the K8s config bytes. So because when the user uploads a file from the UI, it actually comes in as a byte slice here. Now this client command here is part of that same library. I think if I go to the top, you'll be able to see it right there. So you can see it's part of the same library. So in Meshery, we already are using the library, but you might have to make some extra calls to ensure that connectivity to Kubernetes is working, right? So now that is the first part to it. So if you go back to the issue, so here it says users should be able to see the connection status in the UI, and then users should be able to invoke ad hoc connectivity test. Now the second, we'll come to the second one a bit later. Now here, what you need to do is we have to do two things. One, let's do it in steps. So I'll say this. So first, let's write a simple logic which will, after you load the config and validate that it's valid. So I'll say approximately at line number 103. Now at this point, we know the Kubernetes config is valid. But then what we have to do is we have to use the Kubernetes config and then make a call to the cluster and ensure that the connectivity is working. I think that'll be a good first step. Now the second step would be, just like this handler we have, the Kubernetes, the K8s config handler, we will have to create another handler which the UI can use for checking connectivity to Kubernetes. So what will happen is, in the UI, we will invoke some command, or execute, for example, a click action. If you guys know, if you go to the Meshery page, you will see the the Kubernetes thing as a chip. Now, if you click on it today, nothing will happen. But eventually, the way it will work is, if people go and click on it, the Meshery will make a call to Kubernetes, get the version information, or get the nodes information, or one of those, and it can show in the UI that, okay, so I was able to talk to this Kubernetes cluster, and here's the version number, and here are the number of nodes, or something of that sort, right? So now, if you do so, what you can do is you can write a common method for doing that, and then use it in two places. You see the point?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you write a common method, you can use it in just both the places. You can create a handler, call that exact method, and then here in line number 103 of this file, you can call the same exact method. So this way, the code becomes modular, and we will achieve most of what this issue is for, at least the first part. The first two parts. So this way, you can, we would say like hitting two birds with one stone, right? So it's like that. So if you can start working in that direction, Anand, you and me can actually work on this together and kind of make it better. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Any other thing you're working on, Anand?
Yeah, actually, League opened another issue. Let me just see it. Actually, it was about installing the latest version of Docker Compose, while the Docker Compose is not present in the client system. So,
okay.
So I found a command using curl and I think JQ. But I was not sure that JQ is present in JQ will be present in other in client's computer when we are using to install.
Cool. I'm sorry,
Is it
Anand.
okay now?
So yeah. So the point I wanted to make or to tell you is that JQ mostly comes on Linux, and you know, so for example, when you're running curl, um, you're expecting them to have curl on the command, right? I mean, installed on their machine, right?
Yeah.
So the same way we can actually ask them to have JQ, available. Now there are two ways you can go about this. Now you're doing all this in Go code, is that correct?
Yeah.
Then you know what? You don't need curl, you don't need JQ. All you need is make a HTTP get call to this endpoint, and
Okay.
you'll be given back a JSON. All you have to do is now just kind of unmarshal it into a structure, like a Golang structure, and then from there you should be able to you should be able to just get the value from the field name, right? I mean, since you're already doing it in Go, I think this is like the best way to do it, rather than using curl and JQ.
Okay. Got it. Sounds good.
Excellent. So I'm just going to open the issues, and I'll probably come back to them and comment towards the end of the call, so that everybody will benefit in the sense but let me do one tiny thing. What is this? Oh, I see. Just going to do one thing.
Hello,
I'm sorry, what?
uh, I just want to interrupt you that your camera is not working properly. I thought I
Oh
should
yeah,
inform you.
yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay, no. Okay, that's a bit odd, but just give me a second. Okay, yeah, I think this is better. I'll share my camera in like the next 2 minutes. I'm sorry. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out.
Thanks.
Okay, so now let's do one thing. I'm just going to go back to your issues. I just want to add some tiny bits of comments so that it's beneficial. Like you guys have a record of it after the call, and we can go from there. So this is the issue which Anand was talking about now. So I'm just going to copy it. Excellent. So here I can comment. Excellent. So a tiny comment here I think will help. And the same way I'm going to do for the other one, because this is actually an interesting one. So line number 103 in the K8s config handler. Awesome. Okay, so I hope like that makes sense, and then let's get back to kind of making it better eventually. Cool. What next? Anand, is that all your issues?
Yeah, I'm done with my series.
Awesome. Okay, so who's next?
Yeah, sir. Hi.
Hey, Nikhil.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes,
No, sir. Is my voice clear?
yes, you are audible.
Okay. So actually, I was assigned that issue regarding the notification color for the completed process. I'm sharing the link.
Sorry, let's take a look at it now. Awesome. So,
Actually, the thing is that in the notification panel, we only get two colors. Basically, one is red. Uh, can I present the screen, sir? Share my screen.
yeah, no, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. In the notification bar, we only get two color options. That is the default color and the error color. If there is any error,
Right.
so there is no option to change it to success or anything else. I'm sure the thing that I got from the code that I didn't understand. Just a second.
Right. I'm sorry. Let's do one thing. Let's just take a look at the issue. So, changing notification color for complete process. Completed the installation. The notification color is more like an info rather than a success. Should be changed to a success notification.
Yes.
Oh, you mean
The one that in the last community meeting, I don't remember, someone pointed out regarding when the adapter was successfully installed, we got a notification of a info color that it is installed, but not actually of green color. That is a success one.
I think it was Nuno sir who pointed out this.
Yeah. Right. Thank you.
gotcha?
Basically, over the match color variant, we are having only two variants. That is, one is default and other is error.
I see.
In the
Gotcha.
entire code, I can't find any other option that where we can change the color of the notification to either success or anything. Because whenever a new notification is created, it is either directly displayed on the page itself, and when it is added to the notification panel, there are two options, that is default and error. So how to change the particular notification to success, I'm not getting that.
Gotcha. No, that's a good point. You know what? Let me take a note on this. My goodness. What did I do? So Nikhil, I don't have a straight answer at the moment. I just added a tiny comment to your issue, which says, I'll review it and I'll probably get back to you on how you can probably approach this. Sounds good.
Okay, sir. I had another doubt. This one, currently that we have the page, the settings page in the environment,
Mm-hmm.
asked to separate this in cluster and out cluster deployment.
Okay.
So I created this thing. I changed a bit, but I wasn't able to completely distinguish because currently I don't have any cluster installed in my computer, and so I'm not able to get when the in the in cluster deployment. The sir asked me to show the name of the cluster that is already there, or the server Kubernetes server that is already installed. Yes, sir.
Just give me 1 second. So, can you go back to your Meshery environment?
Yes, sir, sure.
Right. Can you go to the in-cluster deployment? So right now you can see the using in-cluster, right? Can you hover over it?
Nothing comes.
Nothing comes. Okay.
Now,
Now the reason why I'm saying is, okay, have you ever used something like a micro K8s or something to test, or a mini cube or something to test on your local?
no, sir, not yet. Not yet.
Okay, gotcha. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that now if you connect Meshery to a Kubernetes cluster, I mean, like, by cluster it can be a single node, it can be multi-nodes, it doesn't matter. In that case, the backend server is actually returning the server name to the UI. So to start with,
okay,
you can actually print that. Now I think it sends two things. It sends the server name, the server address, and the second thing it sends is the context name. Now in the out of cluster deployment, you can actually display those two.
Okay, sir. So basically, how should I install that micro K8s cluster?
Okay, gotcha. You know
So
what?
that when I open the machine,
Yeah. You know what? We can do it offline. I have the instructions right after this call. Like, I'll say ping me and I'll send you, like, a bunch of instructions. Now, given that you are working on Ubuntu, now are you running Ubuntu in a VM?
yes, sir. Yeah.
And how big is your VM?
In the size that is 20 GB allotted.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
20 GB. 20 GB.
Oh, but that's the hard drive, right? Like, but what is the memory CPU settings you've used?
So 8 GB RAM.
Okay. And CPU? 2, 4 CPUs? I'm sorry.
CPU means I did 40, sir.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out. Can you repeat that?
What do you mean by CPU? I didn't get you, sir.
Oh,
Actually, Nikhil,
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
you can check in the description setting list in the VM where you can find the configuration of your VM. How much CPU you have allocated to the VM, not the whole system. Am I right?
that is correct.
Okay, so actually, kindly I don't know that, so I'm not able to.
That's okay. That's okay. We should be able to figure it out. You know what? Let's do it offline. I can give you the instructions for setting up micro K8s, and we can go from there. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome. Any other things you're working on, Nikhil?
No, sir. No, sir.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next person.
Hello, sir.
Hey, Ganjan. How are you?
Yeah, sir. Sir, I'm good.
Awesome.
Sir, actually, I have a problem, sir. Actually, I have to do list Meshery adapter, but I'm not getting how to solve this problem. So,
You want to share your screen, and let's talk about it.
yes, sir. Okay, sir. Is it visible?
Not yet.
Okay. So, sir, I have this problem. So, I have to list the Meshery adapters alphabetically, and here is the page. So I have to list this alphabetically, but I'm not getting the exact code where I have to edit.
I see. I see what you mean. Because the menu is automatically generated. Is that correct?
I think so, sir. So actually, in this code nfv.html, here is some unknown thing that I don't know what is those grand children list, grandchild.url, absolute URL. I'm not getting what are these. So
Gotcha. I see what you mean. Can you share the bug number or the issue number with me?
yes, sir. It is
277.
277.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm going to go to 277. Alright. So one thing we need to do is
Okay, sir. I'm sharing the link of the problem.
awesome. 277, right? Okay, and it is assigned to you. Yes, I can see it. Awesome. Thank you. So Gunjan, like I mean, so the answer to your question is I don't have an answer out of the box, but what we can probably do is
Okay.
we can, we can sync up later. I can see if I can do some
Okay.
search. And actually, the other thing is now Lee has spent much more time with Jekyll than me, so I think it might be also better that he is involved. So what we can probably do is we can have a on Slack we can have a chat and see if we can actually figure that out. Sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Awesome. Anything else you're working on, Gunjan?
No, sir. Right now I have this only problem, sir.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Who's next? Ashish?
Ashis, or I should stop.
Oh, Shubham, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, it doesn't matter. Like, I was just calling out like our names. Shubham, go ahead. Like, let's discuss your stuff, and then let's come to Ashish.
Actually, I don't have much to ask, so that's why I asked Ashis to, if you want. So actually, I'm working on the sample application. That issue on Meshery. I'm done with the reviews that you marked, and currently I'm working on the how to return YML files or any files in Golang. I'm working on that only, and I'm not getting a right document or the document which should I can read or follow. Proceed on that.
I see. Cool. Yeah, you know what? Like, if it's a much technical question, like what we can probably do is we can sync off later. Like you and me have been doing like on Slack. Do you think that's good?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome. Ashish, do you have anything to share with us?
Sir, right now, sir, I have no problems. Lisa assigned me a task where my task was to improve the Meshery code base by fixing the link issues, which I have fixed correctly. So right now, I have no problem.
Gotcha. Cool. So I remember seeing some PRs from you. So I'll see if I can actually take a look at them and probably respond to them maybe today,
Okay.
and we can go from there.
Okay, sir.
Awesome, guys. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Not from my section.
No, sir. Okay.
Cool, man. Awesome. Hey, thanks a lot for everybody for joining the call today. I know Lee actually wanted to be here. Like, he had a last minute thing, so he had to go attend that, which is the reason why he's not in the call today. Which is actually the other reason why he actually wanted me to record the call. So I'm pretty sure he'll be seeing the recording, and he'll be responding to you guys as well. Like, I mean, like, I know he has been he's been in touch with you guys on Slack. I'll definitely pass this along. And again, like, Nikhil, right after this call, I'll send you the instructions for micro KRS, so that it'll be easier for you to actually install and try out Kubernetes. And Subham and I are going to continue chatting on Slack. And I think there's one other issue for whom, I think I have to get back. I think I already responded to Anand's issues. At least I've given him. So Anand knows what to do next, right?
Yeah.
Awesome, cool. So if you guys don't have anything else, let's call it a day, and then let's meet next week. Of course, we'll be meeting before that. We'll be meeting on Friday during our community call, and I hope you guys will have things to present this week.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for your time. Yeah, see you on Friday.
Yeah. You too.
Yes. Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
See you guys. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.